Hey, this is Dan from NexGen Music USA. Thank you for joining us for our new GENCAST series featuring NexGen Music artists, musicians, and co-collaborators across our label group. Today, I am absolutely delighted to welcome longtime NexGen artist Undersound, who I've also dubbed the Welsh Wizard, otherwise known to many as Gareth Evans, who joins us live from his hometown in Cardiff, Wales. Easy, Gareth.
Hi.
How's it going, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. So, how have you been coping during the coronavirus lockdown?
Yeah, good, man. Fortunately, I've been able to carry on a lot of my teaching work, which is, most of my income, via the same method we're using right now. So that's been cool. I've had to adjust a little bit to, adjust the way I teach. But yeah, other than that, I've been pretty creative. I've found more time for studio and guitar practice and random little projects here and there. Yeah, it's been good.
So, I saw your interview on Cardiff TV, which was highlighting your project dubbed Collab 19, which is obviously born out of the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about that initiative.
Okay, so initially it started off as a little bit of a joke, or maybe not a joke, maybe more of an experiment. So it was the night before lockdown. I think it was the 23rd. It was a Sunday. I'd been to West Wales to visit my dad for like the Last Supper, and I was driving back, and I thought I just had this idea of maybe like seeing if some of my friends could send me random bits of vocal that they record on their phone that I could maybe try and make a track with, maybe. So I came back to Cardiff and I filmed this little video to post on Facebook to reach out to friends and colleagues and whoever. And quite a lot of people got back in touch with me. So before I knew it, I was having all of these random bits of vocal. There was no restrictions apart from I wanted it to be in C, and sometimes that wasn't even the case. But so yeah, I was getting all these random bits of vocals coming in. I thought, oh shit, I got to do something with this now. I started to worry that I'd maybe taken on too much, but I focused in on a couple of bits and I managed to get a couple of loops forming. And before I knew it, it started to snowball and started to turn into this track, which was way off what I initially planned. I think in my head, I could just imagine this like nice choral piece of like bits of vocals that are randomly weaving in and out of each other, but in the same key, so it was going to work. But it turned into this crazy like world music, African, tribal, Cuban thing, and it snowballed. So yeah, I was very surprised, and I think the people that were involved were also equally surprised as to how it turned out.
So, how did the interview come about with Cardiff TV?
Yeah, so then once I found myself with this track in my hands, I thought, well, I don't want to just waste it because everyone's got involved and it's like a community and we were all, it was just like a nice, exciting project / distraction from what was going on. So I thought about trying to use it to make some money for charity because there's so many people involved with it. In the end, there was 19 people involved with it, which is creepy. So I thought it's a good way of having quite a wide reach to network it. So I thought about the charity thing, put it onto YouTube for free for people to stream it for free, and then put links to the Just Giving page with a story about it. And I basically then just sent that whole package to via Facebook to Cardiff TV. And they replied and said, put that in an email, blah, 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 and we'll take a look. And I just, thought nothing of it. And then about a week later, I get an email back saying, can we do an interview tomorrow?
Awesome.
I was like, yeah, we can. So, yeah, and that's how that happened.
Wicked, good stuff. So, Gareth, you are highly coveted by us here at NexGen Music as being this multi-talented, multi-instrumentalist, multi-genre music producer. Can you give our viewers a little bit more info on you, short bio about, your whole kind of journey into music so far?
Yeah, okay. So I think I started playing the piano around the age of 5. Was apparently all I wanted to do from when I could talk was play. I think it was trumpet initially, but then it swiftly became French horn. But then I was taken along to have piano lessons from, I think, around 5, maybe 6, 5, 6. So that happened. Then a few years rolled by, and eventually, once I'd grown a little bit, I started trumpets. I think I went to a local town band where they started me on the trumpet, and then moved on to the French horn. And then I think it was when I started playing in that band, I saw the drummer that playing drum kit, and I was like, I want to do that. So, and that's the same thing that happened with the French horn. I'd wanted to play the trumpet, and I think I'd seen someone playing in a demonstration in my school playing a French horn. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to play that big curly thing. Right. And the same happened with the drums. Like, right, I want to play the drums. So then I started learning the drums, and then years later, I think my dad had taken me off to see one of his friends who was in a band. They were rehearsing in like a village hall somewhere, and I'd gone to watch the drummer. But I remember they played Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer, and I just remember being mesmerized by the guitar player playing the riff, and I was like, I want to do that. Which is random. Most people, when asked what song made them play the guitar, it's usually something cool like Jimi Hendrix or whatever. But no, for me, the track that made me learn the guitar is Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer. So then years rolled by, and I started producing. Probably so at the age of 14, I went to music school, and they had a wicked studio there and a music technology course for A-level. So I first got into production then around the age of 16, 17 in school.
But didn't you play for the Queen or something?
Yeah, every Saturday night. Yeah, man. I like I said, I went to a music school. So that was a boarding school in Wells in Somerset on a music scholarship. So we did quite a lot of concerts like that, where there would be royal family there, or royal family would come to the school, or so. Yeah, it's I think at that age we kind of just didn't really think too much about it. It was just something we just took in our stride and did. Looking back on, like if I were to do that now, I'd probably be a mess.
All right, moving on. So we've been working together for about 10 or so years now, ranging on projects from drum and bass to down tempo and dubstep, with a particular mention to the last project that we did, No More Shooting Stars, that we released in April last year, which featured an eclectic mix of music from, lo-fi, pop, ballad, soul, funk, hip-hop, right? So, with that being said, how do you describe your music?
I think you've just done a great job there. I've never heard myself described in so many genres. And I don't like to think of it too much like that. I don't know. With drum and bass, I write drum and bass, and that's it. But with the other stuff, like that album, there was no thought to genre. It was just I was just writing music, and I know that sounds like a bit of a cliche thing to say, but when I try and describe, and even the new EP, I try and describe it to people, and I don't really know. I don't like to say it's dubstep, or I don't like to say it's hip hop, because I feel like it's, I don't know, there's influences of so much.
So your latest EP project, which is entitled Symbols, is going to be dropping shortly. Can you tell us a bit more about the overall theme of the project?
Aggression and therapy. No, it came about in the middle of me working on my second album, and the second album has gone in a much more organic direction for, I'm not wanting to sound too cliche again. So I kind of, I don't know, I just had this pent up aggression, and also I was going through some things in my life as well, so I needed some release. So that's pretty much how that came about. Some of the tracks were already kicking around on my computer, and it was nice to be able to give them a home because they were kind of in limbo a little bit. So once it all started to tie together, it made sense to put out a slightly darker, heavier sounding thing. And I don't think I've put anything out that's quite like this before.
The title track Symbols is a duet with you and the uber talented Francesca Demek. Why don't we give that a little bit of a listen?
They walk together through wild, forgotten lands, holding tightly to each other's hands, pondering these lost places. How many lost faces must there have been, never to be seen? Amongst the ruins they wander, creating memories, or so they thought. Just like these relics to be worn away and destroyed by the one we call time. Which is fine, as constructed by the divine, it's all that is known, let's call it pantomime. They move onwards now, from castle ruins, days of old, to ancient aliens and other worlds to behold. Space, quantum theories, infinity, Saturn's rings, relativity. Collecting souvenirs and trinkets as they go, symbols of a love-turned-horror show.
What you saying, what you saying, what you saying now? Seeing is believing, I know that I can show you how. If you could just see through the dark. What you saying, what you saying, what you saying now? Seeing is believing, I know that I can show you how. If you could just see through the dark.
Loving it. So how did that collaboration come about? What was the writing and recording process like?
So me and Fran go way back, and we've been sort of toying with the idea of doing something together for ages, and it's never really come to fruition until I started doing this track. And initially it was just a bit of fun trying to do like a sort of horror / sci-fi thing. And then the more it kind of developed, I could hear this like spoken word thing going over it, like almost like a sort of female Disney narration, but quite dark at the same time. So I called Fran because she's a fantastic actress and musician and general creative soul, and she was down for it. So I went from there. She came into the studio, and I'd kind of roughly written this story, and then she tweaked it a little bit, corrected my spelling and my phrasing and whatnot. And initially my plan was to put an MC on it. Here you go. My initial plan was to ask very politely for an MC to MC on it, but then when she was in the studio, we kind of thought, I don't know, maybe I was just being lazy, but I kind of could hear this like Portishead style soft female vocal singing like almost like a lullaby instead of this like aggressive guy, which is what I could hear initially, which I guess is obvious. So we again scribbled out some lyrics and started recording, and it just happened like within a couple of hours, which is sometimes they do.
Yeah, you know, some of the best music was written, you know, I mean, especially from yesteryear, you know, single take recordings, right? You know,
Yeah.
I know you write drum and bass, I write drum and bass as well. You know, sometimes you can spend like 5 years working on a tune.
5 years working on a snare drum.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So you chose the name Symbols for the track and also for the EP. What does that mean? What does that signify specifically?
It came from the little bit of dialogue at the beginning of Symbols, the track, and it's loosely about how, you know, one time in your life a symbol can represent one thing and make you feel a certain way, and then another time in your life the same symbol can make you feel completely the opposite, and represent something completely different. So it's kind of loosely about a couple out on a walk in the early stages of a relationship, just like collecting little souvenirs and memories and whatnot, and then when things go south, those souvenirs and memories aren't such a nice thing to look at. So they make you feel bad.
Right. It's deep. The second track, Desires, is really deep, with you sharing some personal experiences, essentially as a message through spoken word. Why don't we give that one a little listen?
He's blinded by desires for love, for future, for respect, for family. He's blinded by desires for love, for future, for respect, for family. He's blinded by desires for love, for future, for respect, for family. She doesn't see him for the man he truly is. She's blinded by the demons within her and only sees the demons. As long as you keep listening to the demons, neither of us can win. We'll never find peace. You will never find peace. The harder I tried to prove you wrong, the more that demon I became, the more the love would deplete. It seemed like any time I wasn't in your presence, you'd think I was doing no good, something I shouldn't be. But the reality was you were barely off my mind for more than a second. I'd ache to be back with you, to hear you laugh, see you smile, hold you tightly. He's blinded by desires for love, for future, for respect, for family. She doesn't see him for the man he truly is. She's blinded by the demons within her and only sees these demons. There were times I drove myself to the brink of madness, just to protest my innocence, to repair us, to restore the magic. But every time I lost another piece of me to the game, while you gain another victory, a deeper hold over me. Now, I don't want to turn this into poor me, woe is me, help me, I'm drowning in all of the sympathy. As I put the pieces back together, I reflect, not with regret, but with gratitude for a lesson that I will never forget.
I really love the instrumentation. It probably edges it as my favourite one. And I think it's also because I haven't had a delivery from you like that in any of the body of work that we've done so far.
I mean, this track for me is, I was really nervous about it in the sense of, I've never done spoken word. You won't ever get me rapping, so that's as close as I'll come to rapping. I wasn't sure. I wasn't. I did a few like layers and I think I did a verse, and I sent it to a couple of close friends, And everyone said, no, it's cool. It's really cool. Your voice sounds okay. Go with it. Keep doing it. So in that sense, I was really, and still am, I'm still nervous about it seeing the light of day, because it's a new thing for me, and it's quite bare. I feel quite exposed, and also because of the lyrical content as well. It's a big one for me, this one.
So you mentioned feeling, somewhat exposed and bare with regards to the lyrical content. Are you comfortable to go a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah. So just to make it worse, as well as doing the spoken word thing, it was very personal at a very specific time in my life, where the track really served me therapeutically, as it were. It's kind of about how you can be so focused on what you think you want out of life that you don't really see the wood for the trees, and it can lead you to making some bad decisions.
Right.
So lyrically it was an exercise in just processing what was going on in my life, and just kind of it helped because it puts everything together in a context where you can kind of just like evaluate it from a different place. So it really helped.
Awesome. Right, so moving on, track number 4 on the EP is Myself, which features one of our new artists, Sorstin, who we kind of hooked you up to collaborate. Why don't we give that one a quick listen?
From the moment I first laid eyes on you, I had a feeling you'd be the death of me. What's funny is that I've only started to realize that now. But hey, I love a little pain. And if I can't have you, then no one can.
Oh shit, let me slide. I just want you for myself. I just want you for myself. I just want you for myself. Let me tell you something about me. I just want you for me, yeah. I just want you for myself. I just want you for myself.
Hey yo, lawless, flawless, awless. I'm artist, ballin' on all y'all and everyone regardless. Sit back, relax, let's get started. Kick back, relapse and get nauseous. Tit for tat till your kids get back. Bustin' expenses till you're sick of that. Dan the man that gives you beats to get lost in. Ladies and gents, you are now listening to Sorstin. Stick to scripts, no, I'm done with that. Does he sing or rap? Is he good or bad? Round the clock hustler, ain't no time to waste. My music's like a drug, let the junkies get a taste. Bumpin', bouncing, grinding, girl's a freak. Something about her riding's got me weak. I'm down to bet her mans wanna find me right, cause he just found my picture on her phone last night.
Oh shit, let me slide. I just want you for myself. I just want you for myself. I just want you for myself. Let me tell you something about me. I just want you for me, yeah. I just want you for myself. I just want you for myself.
Tight. What's your thoughts on how this piece turned out?
Ironically, considering I originally didn't want it to be on this EP, I thought it was going to be on another EP. It's now one of my favorites in a certain way. It's one of my favorites, if not my favorite on the EP, because it's initially this is another one of my beats that I've been floating around on my computer for a while, and I kept revisiting it, and it never worked out. This just never worked out properly to be on anything. And then as soon as you put that vocal on it, it just came alive, man. But still, I wasn't convinced it was right for this project, because I thought the first 2 tracks are so deep and moody, and this is like a bit more of a party vibe. But then it's given balance to the whole EP in the sense that there's this, like the last track is a heavy orchestral dubstep tune, and you got the other ones, the deep ones, which we've talked about already, and it just kind of gives a bit of a break in the middle, and it makes the whole project a bit more cohesive. So you can kind of gives it a bit of up and down.
It's almost like a nice transition track to segue through where you were before.
It's probably it's one of the ones that like just gets your head going. Like it's just got, and the way his vocals comes with the beat, it just came alive. It like in a way that I really didn't expect that beat to. Again, I think I pictured this, I don't know, maybe like an angry MC. I've got to stop imagining angry MCs in my head.
You've got anger issues, mate. Anger issues.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so why don't we talk about some of the other projects that we've got lined up this year? I know you're currently working on a solo piano EP.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome that I've been able to put a solo piano thing out, because writing on the piano is what I know, like, that I've known the longest. I've since I was a kid and learning the piano. I used to have murder with my piano teacher, like trying to get me to read the music instead of like just playing the piano. So whenever I start writing something, the majority of the time, if I'm writing a song, or again, drum and bass is different. It's a different thing. It's a different process. Generally, sometimes I start with the piano, but much less. But most of the time, other stuff, I'll start at the piano or with a guitar. But and then it kind of arranges out from there. So I've got like so many ideas, and I'm always messing around on a piano. So to be able to sort of like condense it into like an actual piano EP was really cool. Really cool. I've never done it before, so it's wicked. So thank you.
So you've also got another LP project in the works. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of moments on No More Shooting Stars that kind of really opened my eyes and opened doorways to what I believed I was capable of doing. So I've basically tried to sort of get myself out of the producer box and get back to a bit more of like the musician. And I feel like I'm always trying to evolve and push myself and learn as a musician, whether it be on the piano or the guitar or singing or whatever. And it's pushed me into realms of like just recording more organically, and trying to stick microphones in weird places and record like percussion. I've been buying just weird percussion and random drums and string instruments, and just trying to just get out of the computer a bit more, as much as I can, and try and make just a real nice piece of music that I know has come from a different place. Not to downplay the other stuff, because that's a massive part of what I do, like writing with that sort of science head on, but it's this album is definitely coming from a far more like a creative place, or organically.
Awesome. Well, I haven't had any updates for a while, so I'm looking forward to hearing what you're cooking up there.
I better pull my finger out.
Well, Gareth, as always, it's been a pleasure catching up with you. And of course, we look forward to continuing to evolve our relationship together as we continue to support you and your music. And hopefully we'll continue to be working on projects for many moons to come.
Likewise.
Awesome. Peace.
Amazing.
Thank you for joining us for this GENCAST episode. Be sure to like and follow NexGen Music via our socials, so you can stay tuned for upcoming episodes, music releases, and other news. Until the next time, be good and stay well.